Well, I really can't believe it's been 40 years. But I look at the calendar and I look in the mirror and I say, yeah, I guess it has.
There's always been a sense of secrecy about the place.
Well, nobody would believe us how good it was, so we just didn't tell them. Too bad for you. But we just kept our mouths shut. We can ski 25 or 30,000 vertical in a day in deep snow.
We weren't known too much by visitors.
Because of the vertical, people didn't look at it. They just went, oh, 1,450 vertical feet. How much fun can that be? Not very. Just stay away. It's so good.
It's not quite as glitzy and glamorous as a lot of ski hills, but you can get all the skiing you could ever manage there.
It just feels like this little local culture thing that you go up there and you know all the friends that you're going to ski with.
Just being able to feel part of something, I guess. Yeah.
What is the something? Do you know what it is?
I don't really know that there's a word for it. Feeling like you're at home.
It's that secret that everybody's been keeping.
That's a good secret. We can keep that.
The nucleus of the new ski hill was the people who ran the Silver King.
Silver King was quite the hill.
They say if you can ski on Silver King, you can ski anywhere.
And it was like a one-run mountain. You get a snowfall, but it'd be heavy.
The weather was changing, and the older guys, like I am now, decided that for the next generation, we've got to find a place to ski.
We had to make a move, and we thought, you know, having another ski hill, we want to know where our kids are. And it's one of the only sports I know that a family can all participate in. You know, you can all get together.
They looked at 3 or 4 different options.
And the story goes is that they looked around.
Came up during the summer months.
They reached up as high as they possibly could and tied flagging tape onto trees to mark the place where they had been.
Came back in winter and couldn't find it at all.
So they actually dug down, and there it was. It was under the snow.
That was the end of the first week in January, and there was 21 feet of snow then, laying on the ground. So we thought, yeah, this is a good area. Well, a lot of thinking went into it, and actually they brought in Nancy Green's husband, I forget his name, but he came here to ask his opinion, and he did a tour of the hill. This was before, you know, while they were still planning. Now he says it'll never be a good ski hill. That was his opinion.
1974-ish, the economy wasn't in great shape, so the community really dug together.
It's nice to live in a small community. People get together and they see the need and they volunteer. And the banker was very good.
So they organized the financing and started to pull it together, but it turned out to be a pretty big thing. Like, it wasn't a little Silver King.
Well, the lodge was put up in around 1973.
It's just unbelievable how many people came together to build the ski area, and they literally built it.
Community, we weren't the only ones. Everybody was involved, right?
Ross Lake put in hours and hours on that hill.
I just can't think of all the people, but there were just dozens of them.
So everybody else was putting in triple chairs, and we're putting up old double chairs that were 20 years old then, right?
We had 2 chairlifts.
The summit chair, which was the main one up.
And Hummingbird.
And Hummingbird was the little feeder.
Art Mowers, he was the electrician, and I mean, that guy put in like 3 years worth of work. Most people in their lifetime don't work as hard as he did in 2 years putting that ski hill together.
And so then the time came that Art Turnbull was the lift inspector in Vancouver, and he flew in.
I think it was the 24th of December.
We were shooting to open on Boxing Day.
The inspector wouldn't pass the thing.
He wasn't happy with some of the e-brake circuitry. He said, I'm flying back today.
I guess Sartmore put on a performance that should have won him an Oscar because there was everything but tears.
I said, we've got to make it Boxing Day. He said, I'll see if I can fly out Christmas Day in the afternoon. And he said, can I meet you up there at 8 o'clock? I said, that's Christmas. So I said, hold on. So I talked to Carol, and she said, well, I guess we got to go. So we took our 2 kids, we fired it up, and he went through the e-brake and all the stops and everything. And he said, it's looking beautiful. What a relief. We opened Boxing Day. We had one of the busiest days there.
It was pretty cool having a new ski hill. Everybody was stoked. You know, we had a lot of snow. The first day that the summit lift opened, I was on the 4th chair and I had my jeans on with my ski jacket on. Everybody in those days skied in their jeans, and that was cool. So I make 4 turns and the snow goes over my head. I freak out and I fall down because I don't know where the hell I'm going, right? So then I get up, dust myself off, drop in again, make 4 more turns. Snow goes over my head and I don't know where the hell I'm going, so I fall down. That's the only thing I can think of is I can't breathe. The snow's going up my nose and in my mouth, and I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. When I got to the lodge, and my jeans were like frozen solid as a rock, I went straight down and bought myself a pair of ski pants.
And right from the get-go, nobody knew how to ski deep powder, right? Like, it was deep, and our skis were skinny. They were only that fat. They're like cross-country skis now, right?
That was the intro. Right off the bat, here you go, waist deep, get at her.
Didn't take long to learn how to ski the powder because there was nobody there.
For anybody that was a hard snow skier, the enlightenment of the deep snow was always something pretty special.
The quality of the snow. I've talked to a lot of people over the years who they just come here, can't believe the quality of the snow that we have. It's something.
Oh, the powder, it's incredible. I mean, I've talked to other people from other hills and they never have quite what we have. I'm sure they don't.
We had unbelievable depths of snow. My wife says, "Are you ever going to take a day off?" I says, "The first day it doesn't snow, I'll take off." So it snowed 39 consecutive days. And then the 40th day, I had a day off.
When we first opened on Boxing Day, all of the lifties were volunteer.
The owners were basically the people who had season's passes.
Ski patrol was all volunteer.
I was part of the patrol as well as worked in the ski shop, and I was kind of the first aid attendant. I was definitely a ski bum in the day. Yeah, that was my life. I just didn't want to do anything else but ski. And that's when I started taking some pictures and doing a little bit of filming.
Jim Turner. This is the Turner boys. This is Neil Mason. This is Al Mason. We used to call him Banana Man for obvious reasons. So these were the first guys that did freestyle at our hill, that were into pushing things a little bit.
We had the opportunity to take pictures in great powder and blue sky days, and nobody be in there.
Who's that?
That's me. See my camera on. I used to think that was the greatest photo in the world. Photography and skiing, for me, are directly related. First photo I ever had published, Ski Canada, 1987.
Doug and I grew up together. He was probably one of the first guys around here that had that passion for photography.
I was basically a ski photographer. I hardly even shot photos of my kids growing up kind of thing, other than if they were skiing. That's me, and that's my son, Stu, now 35 years old. I don't think I could pack him on my back anymore. It seems how he's 6'1" and weighs 220 pounds. Not long after that, Bill Heath and Mike Davies showed up with their cameras and were starting to make their movies, and they listed us.
I wanted to become a ski filmmaker, and so I bought as much 8mm film as I could afford, saved up as much money as possible, and bought an old truck and camper and headed out here, completely ignorant of, making a living or anything like that.
Bill and Mike used to be called White Trash Productions.
We camped right in the tourist park here for the entire winter and plugged into the electrical socket. It just worked. We wanted to live for the whole winter without spending much money.
They bought this big bin of granola and big giant thing of peanut butter, and that's what they lived off. And then I guess about halfway through the winter, they discovered that the granola had maggots in it. So they couldn't eat the granola anymore.
We had to change our diet a little bit.
Mike Davies was the first guy. I've got some film of him on a snowboard before anybody knew what they were.
That's my powder cover.
That Jensen? Who is
No,
that?
that's Dave Heath. After that, Dave Heath moved out here.
Dave was an excellent skier, and Dave is an excellent skier. I always brought my camera along as well. The inspiration, I suppose, came from the balls out attitude that the skiers had.
If you want to have somebody do something ridiculous, point a camera at them, and they'll do it.
I would grab some people and they would just go for it, like huck themselves off cliffs, create all these new lines. You know, they're all really famous now, like famous, you know. And now, like kids now who come and ski here, they're like, oh, did you go do the peak? Did you do the peak? Did you do the peak? And stuff like that.
Dave Heath claims to have skied the peak first.
Yeah, no, I skied the peak first in 1987. Yeah, I went and did it on my own. No one was there.
But he wasn't the first one to ski the peak.
Piggy contradicts me, eh, Piggy?
The first guy to ski the peak was the guy that I went to school with at LVR named Paul Jorgensen. He actually skied the peak in like 1978 or 79, and then he moved to Ottawa and never came back.
In the early days, with the small marketing budget the Hill had, you know, the Heaths and LePage, you know, they had some amazing images, and they were instrumental in putting us on the map.
It is kind of funny that we're both into imagery and everything. I have no idea. I mean, it could just have to do with this place. Mm-hmm. That's what really stands out. It's where we made our most images, I suppose. Incidentally, this is the first pub I've ever been in my life. Yeah. This guy brought me in here. My 16th birthday. Just keep your hat on, Dave. Yeah, just keep your hat on and look at your beer. Don't look at the stripper. There's a band playing. Oh.
Because it was a society, everybody pitched in to do everything, so we'd have a couple of parties every year.
I went to some parties.
We used to put on a rip-snorting party.
Big bonfires, we'd play football in the parking lot. We'd have big sound systems up there and party.
Lots of times it was a costume party, a Halloween party, or something like that.
There was always bands playing up at the ski hill.
Maybe you wouldn't like me to tell you this, but we took a bus up because there's been alcohol involved. Coming down, Art Moore wasn't there. Couldn't find Art. Where's Art? Where did we find Art? He's up in the rafters, for goodness sake.
To the disgust of some of the senior chaperones, once the music started going, a couple of the girls were out in T-shirts, and they decided that maybe we should have a wet T-shirt contest.
The last day of the year, we used to try to empty out the bar. They didn't want to pack it down. They wanted to get rid of it, so we would drink it all.
So when they came around with the cups of water to start throwing on the T-shirts to see who had the best junk, she flips the top off. Well, the place went crazy.
There was some debauchery days for sure.
That was probably the first and last wet T-shirt contest.
Those days are gone. I'm too old for parties now, but I had good memory. You know, unfortunately, when you're doing this, especially locally, they run out of money.
Yeah, it did run into financial troubles. I mean, it's a big business and it's difficult to run, and it was new, and there's expenses coming from left, right, and center, and it was a little bit too much for a volunteer operation.
The problem was we borrowed approximately $300,000 to put the T-bar in, and that year the rates at the bank went to 23% on the loan.
The mill had just closed and the university had just closed, and it was a tough time in BC.
Ray Dory was the bank manager, and he kept saying, okay, I'll have a little more rope, but the head office finally said, that's it.
We came within a hair's breadth of going into receivership and losing the whole thing.
It was almost bankrupt when the group came together.
What happened, from my knowledge, is some of the prominent businessmen in town pooled some money.
And they bought out the ski society.
These 12 guys came together, and I was one of them, with Shelley, of course.
To see that all these businessmen come together to help, and then Tex, I can't say enough about Tex.
There were some very special people in that group, and they didn't do this for the money. They didn't take it over for the money. They took it over for what it meant to the community.
They were able to get it onto a strong financial footing and make sure that it was going to continue on. And then after about 10 years, the group was getting a little bit older. A lot of them had retired, and they're looking at moving on from the ski area. So again, Tex encouraged me to, and Shelley, the two of us, to put together an offer to buy out our partners.
As it got running and Mike Adams came in and they saw he could do the job, they eventually found a way to turn it over to him.
And we were extremely fortunate, and everybody responded with a positive. So we were able to buy our partners out, and Shelley and I operated it after that just as a couple from 96 until we sold in 2008. And again, it was fantastic. I mean, what a story.
Mike and Shelley sold a resort to 3 Calgary-based businessmen that had a passion for skiing.
Andrew Kyle, Dean Proden, and myself, we came together to buy the hill. Feel very fortunate to have that opportunity and to be invited in. You know, it's already been 8 years. We just feel really honored to be able to continue that drive and advance the hill along those same lines and keep it true to the area. It's just a beautiful, magical place.
Everyone that subsequently has taken over, managed it, run it, they're doing a superb job, superb job.
40 years is a long time, a lot of water under the bridge.
We do whatever it is to keep what we enjoy doing. But then it sort of falls to the second generation. Well, we can pitch in and we can help and we can do whatever we need to do to keep it going.
It does span many generations.
You see it, 3, 4 generations of families that still ski here and ride here to this day.
And they start so young here. It's just like walking for these little kids.
It was just a thrill. I just said, I can't believe, the years go by so fast and the kids all grow up.
I can't lift you up.
Can't lift you up.
Oh, you mean up the mountain? Let's go up the mountain.
So for us, it's a thrill. It's a thrilling for her to ski as it was for us to ski. But that still stays inside of you, and the love of the sport and the love of the enjoyment, and it's a beautiful setting up there.
After 40 years, there's definitely things that have stayed the same, right? The biggest one for me is the camaraderie between everybody that's at the ski area. It's a really good question. Should we keep the ski area secret or should we not?
Absolutely, we should let them know it's Whitewater.
And we were proud to be a part of its beginning.
A lot of fun. When you're young and stupid.
I don't have any choice in where I'm going, and I'm going beyond and leaving everybody else. And I hope I don't do that for another 10 years anyway. I always said that if I do pass and if I wherever I go,
it's a given.
If it isn't like Whitewater, if it isn't like our area, I don't want to go.
I have so many great friends at Whitewater. It's wonderful. And they're friends forever. Like, we'll always be friends. We'll always have that togetherness.
You rolling?
Rolling.
Okay. Jesus, this is nerve-wracking to start like this. That's actually good right there.
Yep.
Here's to us, eh? Being the first person to ski off the peak, eh?
Okay, you were the first one, except for that other guy.
I was the first one, eh?
I know, I saw your tracks. Okay. There's actually a shot that I have of Dave standing on the peak. I ran out of film.
Yeah, you've seen it, no?
Yeah, that shot's gonna ski your ass off, and it's pissed him off ever since the beginning.
It didn't piss me off.
It would piss me off if I was gonna ski the peak and my brother ran out of film.
But you changed it part way down after I was over the peak and into the chute.
Yeah, so it just looked like you skied the wussy part.
Yeah. It did look like that.
I skied the peak too.
Ooh, yeah.
Yep. No one was there, just me. At night.
Once we felt that snow under our feet at Whitewater, the rest was history. We just knew we were going to be here. Ran the ski area. Mike ran the ski area. I was just the mom at home with the kids. And then eventually, because of my catering background, my cooking background in the movie industry, I was the natural choice to take over the cafeteria.
When Shelley came in, she really put us on the map as far as what a ski hill can offer as far as high quality food goes. And what she's done, we're known, world renowned for our food.
Bill's about 5 years older than me.
And then when Howie approached us about going to the ski hill, I said, well, we got to bring Ian too. So Ian came along, and yeah, we've been friends, since 73, 74, so a long time.
He helped get me started being a biting technician, and we've been skiing together for well over 40 years.
Isn't that weird to Ian, isn't that weird that you're now business partners with your friend's kid? Like, how old does that make you feel? Poor guy.
Now, I can't remember the year when we went down to buy it, but the Silver King chair came out of Whistler. It was on the creek side of Whistler. It was one of their access chairs. It was called the Olive Chair. But the real story is that the reason we bought the lift in the first place was that was the chair that Shelley and I met each other on. So we met at Whistler. I was I was the ski instructor, and Shelley was in guest services, and we kind of knew each other. But the story goes, it was a good story, is that we actually met on the Olive Chair, and that was where we had our first kiss, and that's why I bought the chair. How could I not?